Hello everyone, I'm Diniti Dandonage and this presentation draws on my PRFX401 professional placement with toddlers aged 2 to 3. Across the 7 Australian professional standards for teachers, I will present 2 artifacts for each standard, explain the professional practice they evidence, and identify a realistic next step. Children are de-identified in my narration, and no photographs of children or children's body parts are used. My central argument is that professional competence is visible through a connected cycle. Observation informed planning, teaching is assessed and reflected on, and collegial feedback strengthens decisions, and ethical accountability frames every action. Standard 1 begins with knowing the learner rather than beginning with an activity. My first artifact is an anecdotal observation of child eyes, imaginative block play. I recorded language, cooperation, symbolic play, and social confidence, then connected those details to EY-life outcomes. My second artifact is child R's learning story, where control paint in brush moments, persistence, and response to read routines reveal physical, communicative, and learning dispositions. Together, these show that I can notice development across domains and interpret how learning occurs through play. Learning stories are valuable because documentation can make dispositions and learner identity visible, not merely listed completed skills. My next step is to combine repeated observation with family knowledge and ment discussion, then document how that evidence changes differentiated planning each week. Standard 2 requires content knowledge to become meaningful pedagogy. In the very hungry caterpillar experience, the content focus is early literacy, listening, vocabulary, sequencing, and responding to questions. Intentional teaching, expressive rhythm, and an inviting reading space supported participation. In the shape matching experience, early numeracy is embedded in play through naming, comparing, and matching forms alongside fine motor and problem solving demands. The reflection also identifies how to increase challenges with more complex shapes and child designs form. These artifacts demonstrate that I am not choosing resources simply to occupy children. I can identify the concepts within the play and select strategies that support them. My future practice will map experience to EY-life outcomes, trial research informed strategies, collect children's responses, and revise teaching while preserving agency and enjoyment. Standard 3 is demonstrated through the logic between intentions, sequence, strategies, and evaluation. The Feed the Animals plan establishes developmental goals, prepares a sensory environment, sequences modeling and exploration, and identifies formative observation and questioning. The Rainbow Fish Plan uses different teaching strategies. Modeling helps children to understand, scaffolding support their participation, and intentional teaching keep their focus, and open-ended questions encourage them to explain. Importantly, the reflection evaluates which strategies appear to support engagement and language. This moves the evidence beyond a completed template and shows professional reasoning. Research on play-based pedagogy emphasizes an intentional balance between child agency and educator guidance. In future, I will plan flexible entry points and assessment prompts intended with observed learning, seek child and mentor feedback, and record one concrete modification after every experience. Standard 4 links inclusion, participation, behavior guidance, and safety. In my week 5 reflection, I identified a specific participation question: how to help quiet or shy children join confidently. The strategies were predictable transitions, clear instructions, and songs and positive reinforcement. The second artifact is independent mentor feedback, recognizing safe, supportive, and engaging environments and positive guidance for challenging behavior, while also identifying language and guidance as areas to keep developing. This combination is important. Self reflection identifies the problem, and mentor observation provides external validation and direction. Supportive environments rely on responsive relationships and guidance that protects dignity. My future practice will plan inclusive participation before group time, use calm choices and positive language, record triggers and responses, and review patterns with colleagues and families instead of reacting inconsistently. Standard 5 is evidence through assessment that changes what happens next. The jotting observation records child eyes participation in music and bubble play, then interprets confidence, movement, belonging, and well-being against evaluative outcomes. It proposes extensions through group experiences, sensory play, and open-ended questions. The mentor report then confirms that my observations were linked to learning outcomes and recommends out continue to use observation and reflections to inform future practice. This shows a cycle of noticing, interpreting, and responding. Research on assessment in play based settings similarly positions assessment as connected to learning goals, play, and planning rather than as an endpoint. My next step is to gather various evidence, annotate how it changes in the next experience, and provide timely strengths-based feedback that is understandable to children and families. Standard 6 requires professional learning to be intentional and responsive to evidence. My three SMART goals target behavior guidance, clear communication, and daily observation. Each includes measures, mentor review, and time framework, with achievement recorded at midpoint and completion. The weekly reflections show an ongoing professional dialogue. My mentor pose questions and recommended strategies such as modeling, open-ended questioning, positive reinforcement, and observing experienced educators. I then trialed and revisited these ideas across the placement. Field experience research highlights um, reflection and adaptable practice as central to maintaining professional standards. In future, I will keep an APST aligned learning log with one evidence-based goal each term. Request targeted observation, apply the feedback, and evaluate whether children's engagement changes. Professional learning will therefore be judged by impact on practice, not attendance alone. Standard 7 frames professional engagement through ethics and accountability. The signed confidentiality form commits me to follow service procedures and protect records and avoid unauthorized disclosure. The signed completion declaration and final mentor report provide independent evidence that placement requirements and professional conducts were satisfactorily met. These documents may look administrative, but they represent the trust on which relationships with children, families, and colleagues depend. The ECA Code of Ethics provides a framework for reflection and professional decision making, while the APST requires knowledge of ethical, legislative, and organizational responsibilities in future roles. I will review child safety, privacy, and service policies at commencement, document uncertainties, seek authorized guidance, and communicate respectfully. Ethical practice means being transparent and accountable while keeping children's and families' information confidential. Across the seven standards, the strongest evidence is not a single polished document. It is the relationship between sources, observation, identities, learning, and planning response, and teaching strategies that are implemented. Assessments test their impact and reflection, and mentor feedback refine practice. And also, ethical process make the work trustworthy. My placement evidence shows developing graduate level capability, while the future goals make clear that this is an ongoing professional journey. The practical commitment I take forward is simple. Every significant piece of evidence should answer three questions. What did I notice? What does it to me for learning? And what will I change next? These are my references that I used. Thank you very much for listening.